Alright, so I got the welds all ground down to what I believe to be below where the metal will sit. So that way it'll sit nice and flush down in there. All the way down. So looking at this piece some more, it might have to just be removed for me to properly fix this corner. I'm just hesitant to, but you know, one problem at a time right now. First we gotta do that, and then going down here, I've noticed that we've got a couple of holes that have re-emerged after I ground out all the, whoops, okay, a couple of holes that have re-emerged after I ground out all the metal right there too. So yeah, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna patch them up, and then we'll start working on the new strip of metal for right there. Yeah. Alright, so we got that hole patched up. Come on, focus. And then we got that extra piece added in here. I tried some TIG welding on it. Let's see, can we see where it has TIG welding? Okay, well, it's very difficult to tell because the inherent nature of TIG welding without filler rod, it's supposed to be very difficult to tell. This was all TIGged up here. Mostly it was just melting down, but it's okay because I made it too tall anyway, so you know, there's that. And this whole area is much stronger, much thicker now. That's much more what I was looking for. I think inevitably I'm going to have to cut this off in order to properly fix this whole empty corner in here. So, you know, there's that. Can I snip that off? No, kind of. Not really. Come on. No. Alright, whatever. Close enough, we'll take a grinder to it. So I'm going to come back in with my cutting wheel and we'll kind of trim that up a little bit. I'm going to gently try to snip right here, and then we just pull that out of the way, set it up out of the way, and then we'll just kind of tack her in place, get it as close as possible. Yeah, and then we're going to cut out this piece here, weld her all in, and we should be just dandy. Yeah, that'd be kind of wrapping it up more or less. A couple more things to make it look a little prettier, and then we'll be on to bondoing this door, prepping it for paint. Of course, paint won't be for a while, but you know, I just want to finish this completely. I'll be a little bit tired of welding, cutting, and fitting for a little while, so bondo will be a nice, refreshing change for a little bit while we wait for paint. You know, but yeah, we'll spray some primer on it too. Just, you know, kept it prepped and it'll be ready to go. And then still got 4 more doors to go, and then 2 fenders and an entire, you know, rocker sills, and yeah, let's not think about that, one problem at a time. Alright, got that corner piece cut out as gently as possible. Hopefully we can get it to line up pretty good when we put it back together. Then on the inherent nature of the angles, what I should have done was I should have cut this out while I had this piece still cut out, but hindsight's 20/20. So I accidentally made a cut into the metal. Once I made the cut, I was like, well, just continue right on through, we'll patch her up in a minute. And then had to kind of come in and cut pretty deep over here, had to patch that, and then same over here. Not so bad though, not so bad. Alright, so we got our cardboard cut out here. Kind of sort of something like that. Whoops, I'm trying to look at it through the camera so that way I keep it focused nice and well. So, that should work pretty well there. And then we'll put a little bit of a bend in the actual metal to kind of follow the curvature of this metal here. Shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to go cut that out. So, getting out that cutting wheel on the grinder there and trying to cut the metal out was very difficult. I remembered I had some metal shears in my toolbox at work, so I brought these home. So far it's been a lot easier when cutting out pieces. Alright, so this is the metal one now. Getting pretty close. I got it bent up to a pretty good curvature here, but I need to trim it up a little bit more so that way it fits better into the metal. Alright, so we got it tacked into place pretty good. It's actually pretty flush most of the way around. So we're going to kind of use a tapper, you know, implement of bashing here. And we're going to try to see if we can tap these into more conformed shape, like up in the corner here and down here a little bit too. See what we can do. Alright, so we got that patch in there and it's pretty solid. It's still too hot to touch, but it really did stiffen up this this whole area right here. Just, you know, I mean, as you would expect. Much less flimsy now. So I'm thinking about trying to get down in there, but just not sure if maybe that inner skin for this, you know, piece that goes down to here should just be tied right into there. Decisions. But anyway, so yeah, it's coming along pretty well. We'll grind all those flat and see what it looks like. See if it looks professional enough for me. Look at that. Just look at it. Look at that. Came back in here and ground down all my welds, and damn, that looks really good. I am really pleased with that. Couldn't ask for anything better for an amateur, you know, restorer over here. Definitely not by any means going to claim I'm a body guy, but that is awesome. That it looked really good. You almost can't even tell. Look at that. Yes. Alright, yeah, now this has cooled down a little bit. Yeah, this is way stiffer. But I'm really, really happy with that. That looks awesome. Okay, so now we're going to try and tackle this long piece. It's going to go all the way down in the air. And I think I'm going to make it in 3 separate portions. One is going to be this area, and then I'm going to do probably a little longer than my fingers can reach for this area, and then probably a third. So there might be 3 pieces along this curve, then one larger chunk down here that's going to best fit that. I feel like that'll be a little easier to handle than, oh crap, there goes my pliers. Oh, don't worry about it later. Anyway, so I feel like that'll be easier to handle than trying to make one huge piece that'll fit, and then I'll weld them all together and we'll grind them down. You won't even be able to tell. But yeah, I think that's what we're gonna aim for. But yeah, no, I'm really, really pleased with how it's coming along here so far. Looks really good. So now if we could just kind of replicate that goodness onto all that's missing off the actual Magnette over there, we'll be looking real good. Yeah, no, I'm really pleased with how it's coming along. This door is coming along real well. With any luck, the other doors will come along just as well, and we'll have 4 good doors ready for paint. And then there's just worrying about the Magnette's rust problems that are actually on the car itself. But yeah, no, this is turning out really nice. I'm really, really pleased with that. Oh, okay, now it's going. Okay. Alrighty, so let's see here. I've got this area all cut out in cardboard. Managed to, whoop, hello, cut my finger pretty good. It's bleeding a little bit. And then over here, we've got some pieces of metal cut out, and they're not a really awesome fit how I'd like to see it. But we'll see if we can just, see, I'm trying to avoid warping it more. It's more for practice for the next door than anything. And someone was telling me that a larger gap between the metal will help reduce that, so that's what we're trying to achieve here. And then my metal's falling down inside of the crevice here. But yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve there. And I've got this all cut out, and this should be the final piece that lays in here. And then for over here, we have to replicate. Come on, focus. Okay, we have to replicate this lip that goes. It's probably easier to see down here when it's less rusty. See how there's a lip right there, right? That folds over where the skin of the door would go onto. So we got to replicate that so that way it doesn't look funny. So once we get this piece of metal welded down, I think I'm going to come back and we're going to lay one more strip, the same thickness as this, across here. and then we'll tack down the sides here to attach it to the door more firmly, and then grind it down. And I think it'll be hard to tell between, I mean, you can obviously tell, but it won't be obvious. You have to be something you're looking for. Yeah, anyway, so with this curve here though, this piece of cardboard had to curve also, so I cut a little slit in it right over here to kind of get it to curve properly. And so when I cut out the piece of metal, I'm going to leave a little extra on this side, so that way when I get it to fit perfectly over here, we can trim it more here. Something like that. So here we go. So the metal never really fits quite right, so even after making it out of cardboard and trying to trace it onto metal, it just never quite fits right. So I'm trying to film it with it in my shirt pocket. So, you know, we'll see how that looks, see if that looks any good for video, at least. Let's see here. Okay. So it looks kind of like we need to trim just a little bit more up off the top there. Okay. Okay, so it's getting pretty close, but we can see she's still pretty counter-cockeyed, so we gotta take some more off here. Now I've got to cantilever it over this way, so you know, if we're lucky here. So, see here, just kind of. That looks a little bit better on the camera. Okay, so. Okay, so this over here is pretty flush with here. It doesn't quite look it on the camera, but it's pretty damn close. Then as it comes over this way, it becomes off the edge, so what I'll probably do is I'll weld it in place, and then I'll come back and trim it up that way. That way, you know, you don't go too short. You can see exactly where it needs to be. A little sliver up here. I don't think there's much I can do about that. I didn't leave enough extra metal over here when I cut it out. So, you know, I don't know. I think that's pretty good for that particular area. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Alright, so it was just a tile marker. Anyway, so I got this other piece cut out here. The one that goes right here. But still needs to be trimmed up some. I have some score marks. You see them there. That's what I'm trying to follow when I cut these out of cardboard at least. And then I follow them when I use the cardboard to make the scores, and then I follow them when I cut them out of metal. Okay. There. Whoops, dropped my phone. Let's see, that's actually, oh, hold on there. Alright, 2 phone calls in a row. This time it was my girlfriend telling me she wants hamburgers for dinner. So, you know, at least that's more interesting than a telemarketer. Anyway, so that fits in there pretty good. We do have an issue of the way this is lining up, so we'll kind of trim that corner there. It might be better with an overhead shot there. Okay, yeah, we'll trim that corner to kind of make that flush. And there's a crazy looking bug over there. Oh, there he goes. All gone. Okay. So now what I gotta do is make this last one, and I've got the cardboard piece for it here. Just gotta go cut it out of the steel. Okay, so see how we could do when it comes to, basically I just need better camera equipment, but you know, that costs dollars and I don't have any of those. Let's see here. Alright, so this is my really crappy metal that I have chosen to use. Mostly because it was free. There we go. So take that, and then I take a punch that I have. Ouch, that's sharp. I hold it down best I can. And this is galvanized steel. Before I weld, I have to grind off all the galvanized with the wire wheel I keep right here. Because you can't really weld galvanized materials. It makes noxious gases, and if I recall correctly, it messes with the quality of your weld. Anyhow, it's helpful for this because it's soft. So when you take your punch and you are scoring it, you don't have to press very hard. And see, there you go. You make a pretty good mark. So keep that there, and then go over here, and then I just kind of, it's just rough, you know. We fine tune it later, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The closer you get, the less time you have to spend trying to fix the unperfectness of it. But let's see here. So, okay, all right, this is an awkward position. Okay. Just trying to get all the electrons of the metal to line up properly. If you're wondering, that has nothing to do with what we're doing. I'm just making excuses for hitting things. Here we go. I was trying to bend the metal out of the way by hitting it, so that way I could get the tin snips in there. Okay, so now that I've got the two cuts up this way made, this is one of the easier pieces. That's why I'm trying to film. The other one with the curve in it was much more difficult just due to its size. So then I take it and I just kind of bend it down. So the bend happened above the line I've drawn. So, safety. That looks just ugly as hell. It's all weirdly shaped. So we take her over here to the block of wood and our friendly hammer here. Okay. And then just a little whack here, a little whack there. Alright. That does have a tendency to kind of make the whole piece of metal bowed. Yeah, see? Alright, so then I just flip her over. One good whack in the center, and that gets her pretty flat. Okay, I have a concrete pad over there that I take it over to before I do much more with it. That's just to kind of generally flatten this out. And focus. Focus. So now I'm just cutting to just before the line. Gives me a little more room to work with if I screwed it up at all. And back into shot. Pop. Okay. There we go. Just pretty flat. There we go. Okay. So now we roll her back over here. Sorry for making you motion sickness there. So then plop her right on in. Wonder why it doesn't fit right. Flip it around the right way. And that's a pretty good fit, honestly. It's pretty spot on, actually. I am pretty proud of that. Okay, well, it's not really pretty. But I think that it'll work. So I'm going to grind all the galvanized material off of all of them, make sure they're nice and flat. And then we're going to get tacking her in place and, see how she goes. Clear to go. Here we go. Fresh metal, galvanized metal. So we want it all to look more or less like that. go. See, this is why we're careful. We're getting there. Now we just gotta move the piece of metal out of the vice grips here. Sometimes should get a little bit toasty. Yep, still a little hot. So we get the other pliers and we do one of these. There. Move over this way. There we go. There we go. Yes, sirree, Bob. Okay. So general rule of thumb, she's spinning my thing in this way, right? Which, like that, right? So don't go like that. Don't go like this. You just want it on the downstroke. That way you avoid hurting yourself. You don't want to go past the center point up here. Like right about there is about as far up as you want to go. Anything more, and then you're catching it on the up throw, and you're gonna hurt yourself, or more likely to hurt yourself. So